What's up, everybody? Thank you guys for joining us on Robert Garcia Unfiltered. We're here post-fight from Vergil Ortiz versus Maurice Hooker from where exactly was the arena at? Fort Worth?
It was in Fort Worth, yeah, Fort Worth.
Fort Worth, Texas, the Dickies Arena.
Yeah.
Live on DAZN. Vergil Ortiz gets the TKO. It was a weird stoppage with Maurice Hooker. He got dropped in the
but I think he said something about he hurt his hand. They were saying that he broke his hand, bro. I didn't really see how he broke his hand, because I think Vergil had landed a really good punch or something, and he turned and went down.
Yeah. Well, we'll
So
get to
I don't know how did the replay seem.
We'll get into that right now. I wanted to start off by talking about it was in Fort Worth, Texas, the Dickies Arena. Vergil has fought in Dallas a few times already. The most recently, his fight with Antonio Orozco was there in the area. He fought in Grand Prairie that time in his hometown.
Yes.
Antonio Orozco, a former title challenger, but this one just seemed the crowd looked a little.
It was a big difference. You know, big difference from the fight when he fought Orozco to now. Now it was like, I'm telling you, it was like when we walked out of the arena with Mikey at the Staples Center.
There's some crowd. There's some hometown crowds that are just special. You also, yes. I think like last week we were watching Chocolatito versus Gallo Estrada, and we both looked in the crowd like as we were watching, and we said, "Damn, the crowd doesn't look like it's like
kind of dead,
too crazy." And it was there in Dallas too. And you said, I think if fans had to choose between buying tickets to Gallo Estrada and Chocolatito, which that was probably like the top. There's gonna be top 3 pound for pound, top 3 fights of the year this year, with two guys that could arguably be in the top 15, 20 of anybody's pound for pound list. But this one was, I guess you could say, a coming out party for Vergil in his hometown against a former world champ, also from the Dallas area in Maurice Hooker. So explain to us exactly what it was like being there in the crowd. It wasn't even full capacity. It was like, I don't know what percentage they allowed.
Yeah, I don't know what percentage, but it looked pretty packed. But it wasn't full capacity, but it was a big arena, and it was probably, I don't know, 80 to 90% all Vergil fans. It was unbelievable. I'm telling you, like, it felt like when we walk out with Mikey at the Staples, when we walk out with Jose Ramirez in Fresno, you know, that kind of fans, you know, it was unbelievable. It was insane, you know, a kid with only 17 fights now, and the fans, thousands of fans right there supporting him. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I saw Vergil talked about it a little bit after the fight, where he talked about it with, I think, interview with Tino. He said he just felt the electricity in the arena. You know, like you said, he's a hometown kid. So, and he's one of those guys that I forgot exactly who told us the story. It might have been Cameron Duncan that told us the story that he had 2 fighters around the same that were around the same weight class and from the same area, from I think Albuquerque, New Mexico. Danny Romero and Johnny Tapia. There was something special about Johnny Tapia to the fans there, because he seemed like he was one of them. He never wore he was never like the like he like dressing differently, or he thought he was like better than everybody else. He was just a down-to-earth guy that kept his feet on the ground. And I think that's what the fans are starting to see in boxing, and especially in that area. Vergil's just a normal kid who just likes to go in there and fight. Is that kind of like the sense that you get, that they feel connected with Vergil because he's like one of them? You know what I mean?
He's one of them. You know, he could be next week in the crowd supporting another local fighter. You know what I mean? That's just the way Vergil is. He's one of them. That's why they feel they love him, and he makes that connection with all his fans. It's unbelievable, man. I'm telling you.
Now getting into the fights themselves, I want to start off with we had Hector Valdez was the first fight on the card. Those fights were streamed on Facebook, on the Golden Boy Facebook page. I don't know if they might still post it on there, but he was the first fight of the night. How did his fight go? He won a unanimous decision, 8-round fight.
He won a unanimous decision. It was an 8-rounder. 2 judges gave it 8-0, and 1 judge gave it 7-1. So all in favor of Valdez. It was a dominant fight, but the kid he fought from Sacramento, very tough kid, a lot of experience. southpaw, so that made it a little bit more awkward. Also, wasn't an easy fight just to go there get a quick knockout. No, that guy was solid, a lot of experience, and gave Valdez a great fight. You know, Valdez won every round, but it was still a very competitive fight. Even though Valdez won every round and won unanimously, it wasn't an easy fight. It was a tough fight. The kid was very experienced, and you know, the kid is one of those kids that's going to give anybody a great test.
The rest of the card had a few guys from Dallas. George Lincoln, I believe. Tristan Kalkruth. I'm sorry if I'm butchering the.
Yeah, Kristen. He won. He won. I think it was a first round knockout.
Tristan.
Yeah.
Then we went on to the women's. No. Marcelino Lopez won by knockout. Strong guy. Then we go to the women's.
Strong man.
Strong guy.
Look really strong.
Then we go to the co-main event with the women's title on the line, WBA, I think.
Yeah, Estrada became a champion.
Sinisa Estrada becomes world champion.
She became a champion, dominated the fight. It was a good fight, solid world champion too. She looked good. Yeah, very good.
But the main event, Vergil Ortiz versus Maurice Hooker. This is easily Vergil's toughest test so far. Maurice Hooker, a former world champ, his only loss was to Jose Ramirez, who is 1 or 2 in anybody, like easily 1 or 2 in anybody's list at 140 pounds. And he has obviously his fight with Josh Taylor coming up May 22nd, which is gonna show who the best one is at 140. But no shame in losing to somebody like Jose Ramirez. Moves up to 147, and like Vergil said in the post-fight press conference, he said he gives Maurice Hooker a lot of credit because the first fight he takes when he moves up to 147 is one of the toughest rising contenders in Vergil Ortiz, 16-0, 16 knockouts. Maurice Hooker went straight into one of the toughest fights at the division. The fight started off with it looked, well, from what we saw at home, it looked like Vergil was, got into rhythm right away. His jab landed really, really nice all night. Then in like the 5th, 6th round, started working the body, and then got the knockdown in round number 6. Maurice Hooker gets up, but then in the 7th round, Vergil starts landing a few combinations, and then, like I said, something weird happens where Maurice Hooker throws like a right hand, looks like hits him on the shoulder, on the top of the head or something, and he just turns around and takes a knee, and right away starts like he can't even pick up his arm and says like that's it, and the fight gets stopped. What did you think overall of Vergil's performance against somebody of that caliber of Maurice Hooker, who recently?
I think it was a great performance. It was a real test for Vergil. Hooker, honestly, nothing but respect for him, and he's not only a great person, a great fighter, but a warrior. He came to fight. The round where he got dropped and got up with the bell rang, I thought that was it for him. He came when the bell rang, wanting to fight and kept coming. He's a warrior, and I give him nothing but love and respect, because it's not easy inside against Vergil. Believe me, Vergil's very strong, and this guy was there to fight. He hurt his hand, and the fight had to end. But yeah, we got to respect the type of fight he came to give, the condition he was, the heart that he has. They had actually a good game plan too, because they fought good. He landed good punches also. So it was a really good, really exciting fight. Even though Vergil was dominating and Vergil was started breaking him down with body shots, I think he was we were in a real fight. It wasn't easy. Even when it ended, it wasn't like it was already an easy fight. It was still very dangerous. He was still there to fight. Sucks that happened to his hand, but yeah, he's a tremendous fighter and a real warrior.
Yeah, one of the things that I think makes Vergil, or shows the rest of the world, because we've seen it in the gym what Vergil's capable of. He hasn't had the top opponents, but he's getting to that point where he's gonna start fighting the world champs, and we'll get into that soon. But he went in there with somebody like Maurice Hooker, who in the fight with Jose, going into that round where Jose stopped him, the fight was 50-50. They were both.
Yeah, it was a fight. Yeah,
it was back and forth. The first few rounds I think Jose stopped him in the 6th. The first 5 rounds could have gone either way. There was rounds where it looked like Hooker started to pick him up, and then Jose would come back just back and forth. From this fight from Vergil, he even looked like he was controlling him with his jab. Like his jab was landing really, really nice, and it was a stiff jab. It was quick. It was Ike Corte, like, just a stiff straight jab, and boom, Hooker's head kept flying back every single time. I think maybe the fourth round was the only one that I saw online. A few people gave to Maurice Hooker, but I had the fight 6-0 going into the seventh round with the knockdown. What does that say about Vergil and what he could potentially, what other kind of tests he needs to get into before he wants to fight those guys like Terence Crawford and Errol Spence? Because like I said, Maurice he's the closest thing to one of the top welterweights in the world right now. He's the closest thing to them. Him, maybe a Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, Keith Thurman, those types, but that's already the top of the division. But he like I said, he dominated 6 rounds to 0. What do you think?
Yeah, I would, even though he was dominating, it was still a real fight. It was still a real test. So I think Vergil passed it, dominating and winning the rounds. Tough rounds, but dominating and winning. I think next fight, I would, I can't say it's going to happen because of the management's promotion that are around in boxing, but a fight with somebody like Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, Ugas, Broner, but they're all fighting with PBC, so I don't know how easy those fights would be to make, but those fights, something like that would be something that I would really like for Vergil. That's the fight before going in there against a Spence or a Crawford. I think I would like one of those fights. Keith Thurman would be great also, but I don't know how easy those fights are to make, but something like that, those names that I mentioned are the ones that I would like to see Vergil against, and then after that, then we go after the champions.
Yeah, today Vergil fought for the WBO international title. He's ranked number 2 before the fight. He's ranked number 2 for the WBO title already. Obviously, the WBO world champ is, like you said, one of the pound for pound, not just at welter, one of the pound for pound best fighters in the world, Terence Crawford. That fight, Oscar De La Hoya pre-fight brought it up. They kept showing on DAZN. They kept showing Terence Crawford after the fight. That's the one guy because Errol Spence was there at the fight too, but Errol Spence looks like he might be fighting Ugas. They showed the camera to Terence Crawford. He was kind of like pointing to Vergil, like, come on, bring it on. And then Vergil said, no, I see you. I want that fight. And then they asked him, about being ready for them. And he says, I might not be ready for them. He's like, maybe I'm not. He's like, but I want that fight. What do you think about that potential fight with Vergil and Terence Crawford after today's victory?
I'm telling you, I think Vergil will be ready, but I think I would like one fight before, the names that I mentioned. I think Vergil still needs that one fight. He's going to turn 23 next week. So
23 next year.
What's the rush?
Next Thursday.
What's the rush? There's no rush. I think, can he fight? Can he beat him? Yes, I think he could probably beat him. I think so too. But there's also that one fight before that would tell us exactly where he's at. Those names that I mentioned. I think Vergil's ready for those guys. And then after that, we'll go after the champion. But right now, we also have to know that Crawford is the champion and he's a great fighter. Very, very, very pound for pound, one of the best in the world. So I think there's still one fight before that, and hopefully it would be against somebody in those that I named.
Yeah, there's only a certain, like, from Maurice Hooker, there's only a certain amount of fighters that you can go up from. I think like the ones you mentioned, Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman, Ugas, Sean Porter. Those guys are the next level up, but it's a little bit tough because all of those guys that I just mentioned are all with Al Heyman, so it makes it tough to get one of those guys in the ring. Moving forward with Vergil, I don't know if Golden Boy or anybody has said about maybe a potential like return date or anything like that. Is there any like plan for this year for Vergil? Like you said, obviously they want Terence Crawford, but is there like a certain plan that maybe they're already thinking about or anything?
Well, no, there's nothing really. They didn't mention anything. This is too soon. Plus, Rick Morrigan will probably have an answer for that soon. But I think Vergil will probably be back sometime in July or August. So that way he could have another one at the end of the year. So we will probably be able to see him 3 times this year. July or August, and then one more at the end of the year. And if it's the big one at the end of the year, then perfect. If not, we're in no rush. The kid's only going to turn 23 next week, so there's no rush. He's already making statements. He's already beating former world champions, and he's going to continue doing it. But if the title fight comes at the end of the year, then yeah, we want it. But there's no rush. We don't have to take it if we don't want to. We could wait a year longer.
Before I send we close the show, I wanted to ask you, because I saw on Instagram that Canelo called you on the phone or something and wanted to talk to Vergil.
Canelo and Eddy.
Oh, that happened. What happened?
We're in the locker room, and just getting ready, and Canelo and Eddy Reynoso called me on my cell phone, and they told me they wanted to talk to Vergil. So I gave Vergil the phone, and he talked to both Eddy and then Canelo. They called him to wish him good luck. Then I talked to them also, both Eddy and Canelo, and they both wished us good luck and said that they were supporting us, and that was great. The best fighter in the world, pound for pound, called us to wish us good luck. That was unbelievable. It motivated Vergil a little, because he didn't, he's like from anybody else you would tell me to guess. Canelo was the last one I thought would call me to wish me good luck. And yeah, Canelo, after the fight, I got a few messages from different Michael Peña called me and me. Yeah, he told me the same thing to Vergil. There was a lot of people right there calling Ellie, me, and just telling us congratulations. But yeah, it was Vergil made a statement, and people in boxing all over they loved him, and they want to continue seeing him.
I think not just in boxing. I think just in the general public, his name is starting to pick up a lot more. The way I saw the crowd.
Teofimo Lopez also sent me a message and told me congratulations, and told me to tell the champ congratulations.
That's badass. You see Vergil starting to get that big recognition, from
Piolín also.
I see, from in boxing and outside of boxing.
Yeah.
That does it for this. We're gonna be doing this again quite often. We're gonna be switching it up. Sometimes we'll be doing it like on Zoom calls whenever my dad's at fights and I'm away, like in today, or whenever we both go to fights. I'll have video of stuff in the locker room post fight. We'll still be going live every now and then after big fights, the way we've done recently. But again, thank you guys for tuning in. Any last message for the fans, and especially all the fans out there in Dallas that went to the fight to go support?
Nothing but love for everybody here in Texas. Dallas is pretty much our second home. It wouldn't be a bad idea to buy a house over here, so we could, we're here most of the time. But yeah, nothing but love. Everybody's been very supportive, and now with Vergil becoming a star, it's just another one. We get nothing but love for Jose Ramirez, Mikey, Nonito when he was fighting, and here in Texas, Nonito fighting, there was nothing but love. A few Maidana, Brandon Rios, it's unbelievable. Texas is our favorite place. Even though we're from California and we love it in California, that's our hometown. But Texas is unbelievable, man, and we have nothing but love. They show us nothing but love, and we really appreciate it.
Yeah, again, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll talk about that later, because Canelo's fighting in Cowboy Stadium. We could possibly have a few guys on the undercard.
Correct.
We could possibly have a few guys on the undercard, so we will be back to Dallas sooner rather than later. But again, thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you guys soon.
Thank you guys.